Okay, so are you ready to like dive deep into some pretty wild ideas
Hmm.
about human evolution?
Wow, we're talking about some pretty big claims here.
But the thing is, it's not just like, some ancient myth or something. It's
Sure.
like these ideas are based on like real changes they're seeing in kids these days.
Uh-huh.
Kids born after like the year 2000.
Yeah, like actual physical
It
differences.
really makes you wonder, like, what if these kids who just seem so different from like, past generations,
Hmm.
what if it's not just, how they were raised or like the world they're growing up in?
Right.
What if it's like something deeper, like something that's actually changing? Like human evolution is happening right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're going to be looking at. Like, is this a new type of human emerging?
And why is it happening?
Right.
So let's start with the evidence.
Okay.
Okay, they're talking about specific physical differences they're seeing in these kids,
Mm-hmm.
especially with this bone called the sphenoid bone. It's that like butterfly-shaped bone in the middle of your skull. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting how that bone keeps coming up when we're talking about, human evolution, like
Yeah.
throughout history. Each time there's been a major leap forward, like from Australopithecus to Homo sapiens,
Yeah.
the angle of the sphenoid bone has actually shifted.
And they're saying it's happening again
Right.
right now, like we're seeing evolution in action.
Exactly.
But it's not just about bones.
Right.
It's like, what do these changes mean for how these kids like think and feel?
Exactly. Think about the limbic system, that part of the brain that controls like our emotions and our responses.
Yeah.
The theory is that as the sphenoid bone changes, the limbic system also changes.
So these kids might actually be wired differently.
Hmm.
Maybe they're experiencing the world with like less fear and more resilience.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Interesting.
And this is where we start to see like a real contrast between these kids and older generations. Who might be more prone to like suppressing emotions?
Yeah. Or avoiding like the hard stuff, the
Yeah.
shadow stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like these kids are coming in pre-programmed for a future where like, emotional intelligence and self-awareness are essential.
Yeah, like it's the key.
Okay, so now we're going to step into some seriously uncharted territory here.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Some people believe that these changes aren't just random evolution.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually evidence of extraterrestrial intervention.
Right.
Like we're talking about alien hybrids.
Hybrids, yeah.
I know it sounds like a sci-fi movie or something,
It does.
but think about it. Have you ever met a child who just seemed like incredibly wise
Mm-hmm.
or mature for their age? Like they had this almost otherworldly understanding of
That
things.
makes you wonder.
It really does.
Right.
And this is where this idea of different types of intelligence comes in.
Okay.
We're used to thinking about rational intelligence, the
Mhm.
kind that's measured by IQ tests and stuff.
Yeah.
But what about like emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence?
Right.
Those are harder to define.
They are harder to define, but some believe that these hybrid children are born with all three types of intelligence,
Wow.
highly developed.
So they're coming in with like a totally different skill set.
It's like they're prepared for a different future.
Yeah, like they're ready for whatever's coming next.
Right, exactly.
So are we talking about like a planet ruled by these emotionally intelligent, super intuitive kids?
Well,
I mean, what would that even look like?
it's a really interesting question.
It is.
Some predict that these children will actually step into leadership roles in like the coming decades,
Okay.
and they'll bring with them this new way of thinking
Hmm.
that's more in tune with nature and focused on collaboration.
Rather than like competition.
Right.
I mean, I could see how that would resonate with a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially with all the talk these days about sustainability and finding new ways to like live in harmony with the planet.
Yeah, it does seem to align with a growing sense that things need to change,
Yeah.
that the old ways aren't working.
It's time for something new.
Yeah.
But now we need to address like the elephant in the room here.
Okay.
Things are going to get a little unsettling.
All right.
The information we're exploring also talks about like abductions
Yeah.
and women having hybrid fetuses removed.
Right.
And there are even stories of women who have like medical records showing they were pregnant,
Yeah.
but then the hospital insists they were never pregnant at all.
It's wild.
I know. It's definitely the most disturbing aspect of this whole thing.
It really is.
It raises so many questions. Like, imagine the trauma
Right.
of having an experience like that.
Yeah.
And then having it completely dismissed and invalidated.
Like it never even happened.
It's no wonder people struggle to make sense of it.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
So how do we reconcile these claims of abductions and, these missing babies
Yeah.
with this idea of a more evolved generation coming in to help humanity?
Right.
It feels like a real clash between, like, hope and fear.
It does, yeah. It's a clash, and it's a part of the story that can't be ignored, but
Yeah.
some believe that these seemingly traumatic experiences are actually part of like a bigger plan,
Okay.
something that souls agree to before they even like incarnate.
Wait, are we talking about those cosmic contracts I've heard about?
Yeah,
The idea that we're, like, choosing these experiences before we're even born?
exactly. It's a concept that's kind of hard to wrap our heads around,
Yeah.
especially from our limited, human perspective.
Right.
But some suggest that we actually volunteer for these experiences,
Wow.
knowing that they'll ultimately serve a higher purpose.
So these women who are going through these abductions, they're choosing this on, like, some soul level.
That's a tough one.
I mean, that's a lot to process.
It is.
It raises so many questions about, like, free will and consent.
For sure.
I mean, even if there is this, like, grand cosmic plan unfolding,
Right.
it doesn't diminish the very real pain and confusion that these people are going through.
It's a paradox.
It is a paradox, yeah.
It's like we're trying to reconcile these two like opposing ideas,
Mm-hmm.
the potential for a more evolved humanity, and then the very real trauma that some people are going through.
Right.
Is it possible that both are true?
That's the question, isn't it? And maybe the answer lies in expanding our understanding of what's even possible.
Okay.
We're so used to viewing things from just like a physical scientific perspective.
Right.
But what if there are other forces at play?
Hmm.
Forces that operate outside our current understanding of reality.
Okay. I'm trying to keep an open mind here,
Yeah.
but this is where I start to get a little lost.
Okay.
Are we talking about like some kind of Galactic Federation calling the shots here?
Wait.
Is there like a group of super evolved aliens making decisions about our planet?
Well, that's what some people believe.
Okay.
There's this idea of a council or a federation of planets,
Hmm.
kind of like a cosmic United Nations.
Wow.
That's working together to guide the evolution of, different worlds. So we're not alone in the universe.
Yeah.
And there's like someone out there watching over us. I mean, I
I-
guess that's comforting in a way,
Yeah.
but also kind of intimidating.
It is a little bit. Yeah, it definitely challenges our sense of importance, doesn't it?
It does.
But maybe that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe realizing that we're actually part of something much larger than ourselves
Yeah.
can help us shift our perspective.
It makes you wonder what they think of us down here on Earth.
Right.
With all our chaos and conflict.
Like, are we the problem child?
Yeah. Are we the problem child of the galaxy?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe we are.
But some believe that they see potential in us.
Okay.
That they recognize our unique capacity for both, like, great destruction and incredible creation.
So it's like they're betting on us to figure things out,
Yeah.
to evolve beyond our current limitations.
To grow.
But how do these hybrid children fit into all of this?
Right.
Are they like the galactic ambassadors? Here to show us the way.
That's one way to look at it, yeah.
Okay. They could be seen as a bridge between the old and the new,
Hmm.
embodying a way of being that's more in harmony with the universe.
And if Earth is this, like, genetic melting pot like we were talking about before,
Yeah.
then maybe our planet is playing, like, a crucial role in this whole cosmic experiment.
Exactly. We're not just like passive recipients of their technology or their wisdom,
Right.
but active participants in like this much larger evolutionary process.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta admit, this whole hierarchy of planets she describes,
Yeah.
with Venus being this, like, happy planet of pure spirit and Pluto being a prison planet for troubled souls,
Right.
it all feels a little simplistic,
Yeah.
even judgmental.
It does.
It makes you wonder about, like, the nature of spiritual evolution, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, who are we to judge an entire planet or its inhabitants?
Yeah, good point.
They're like, we're trying to impose our own limited human understanding onto this vast, complex universe.
Right.
We're probably missing a lot of nuance.
A lot of nuance.
Okay, but back to the people who are listening to this right now.
Okay.
People who are grappling with these ideas, maybe even feeling a little scared or overwhelmed.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that, we're all on our own journey.
Yeah.
And there's no like one right way to make sense of these ideas.
Mhm.
It's really about like exploring questioning
Yeah.
and finding what resonates with you.
It's like we're being invited to step outside of our comfort zones
Right.
and consider possibilities that we might have, previously dismissed as, like, impossible or even crazy.
Exactly. And it's okay to feel like a mix of emotions too.
Yeah.
Like excitement, skepticism, even fear.
Yeah.
It's all part of the process.
It is, but what about people who believe they've actually have like an encounter
Yeah.
or maybe even have a child that they believe is a hybrid? What advice would you give to them?
Well, it's important to approach those experiences with compassion,
Yeah.
both for yourself and for those who are involved. And remember, these are deeply personal experiences, and
Wow.
there's no like one size fits all answer,
So it's not about trying to like prove or disprove anything,
right?
but more about honoring those experiences and finding ways to like integrate them into your own understanding of the world.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're feeling like isolated or confused,
Yeah.
seek out communities or resources that can offer support and guidance.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like anything else, finding people who can relate to your experiences
Yeah.
and help you navigate those like uncharted waters.
Exactly. Okay. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm left with this sense of wonder,
Mm-hmm.
but also like a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's like we've only just scratched the surface of something truly profound.
It is just the beginning, and who knows what incredible discoveries are waiting for us,
Yeah.
as we continue to explore the mysteries of human evolution and our place in the cosmos.
Maybe one day these like seemingly outlandish ideas we've been talking about
Right.
will become like mainstream knowledge.
Perhaps. Or maybe we'll discover something even more extraordinary.
Yeah.
Something that challenges like everything we thought we knew about reality.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a new frontier, peering into a future that's full of potential
Yeah.
and maybe even a little bit of magic.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think that sense of wonder,
Yeah.
that willingness to embrace the unknown is what will ultimately guide us toward,
Yeah.
a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe that we inhabit.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our journey,
Yeah,
at least for today. It's been a mind-expanding exploration, to say the least.
it has been. We encourage all of you listening to, continue your own exploration, to
Yeah.
keep asking questions and to never lose that sense of awe and curiosity.
Because who knows? The truth might be even stranger,
It might.
more wonderful than we can possibly imagine.
We can even imagine.